Welcome back to the Basketball Show. Paul Sir, Ryan Reed with you this morning. Before we jump to our guest, Ryan, we neglected to give our listeners our poll this morning.
Yeah, we're asking who the highest player in the NBA should be between Devin Booker, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, and
Gilgeous Alexander.
Yeah, Gilgeous Alexander, because Devin Booker just got the 2-year, $72.5 years extension. So
yeah. Who
go vote
should
on Sports 1440?
Who should be the highest paid player? Should it be Devin Booker or should it be Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or our guy Shai Gilgeous Alexander? I'd like to welcome in the executive director of the Alberta Basketball Association, Dave Drabiuk. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Thanks for having me on the show.
Great to have you on. Just a little bit of trivia. The fellow answering the phone is a former Augustana Viking recruited by you, Ryan Reed.
Ryan, I wondered when I saw the name, I'm like, I wonder if that's the same Ryan Reed. Awesome to connect with you again, man.
We will do that. He just heard you. So I believe you're over at the Saville Community Sports Center this morning, Dave. What's going on?
Yes, I am, Paul. We've got our Alberta Basketball 3x3 championship tournament going on this weekend. We've got 15U and 13U boys and girls divisions playing, and as you know, the sweet sound of basketball is a wonderful thing on a Saturday morning.
Well, the sweet sound of 3x3 basketball is just has a little bit of a nice. It has a little nicer tune to it. I love hearing that. So, well, I hope the event goes really, really well, Dave. So, Dave,
you. Appreciate that.
You're welcome, Dave. This is the 50th anniversary of the Alberta Basketball Association. Talk about what ABA is planning to do to celebrate this important anniversary.
Well, thank you. Yes, 50 years since the incorporation in 1975. As has been pointed out by a couple members of our committee, there were several organizations along the way that referred to themselves as variations of Alberta Basketball Association, but the official incorporation in 1975, so this is our 50th anniversary year. In September 6th, to be exact, we are going to be holding a gala, a celebration banquet to honor the past and celebrate what we hope is a very bright future with basketball in Alberta. It's a great chance for the community to come together and share some stories and just be together in a room and really relive some memories of basketball. Around that, we've got on the Friday night, we'll be doing a kind of a fireside, hot stove type panel discussion, just talking about memories and moments in Alberta basketball history. That's at our host hotel for the event, the Westin, and then Saturday will be the banquet at the Expo Center in the hall that the Stingers play in. So we're setting it up to be a banquet with the basketball ambiance there. I was really hoping to be on here this morning saying, yeah, the ink is dry and we can announce the keynote speaker, but I'm unfortunately having to hold off for another day or so yet at their request before we can announce the keynote speaker for the event. But it'll be one that I'm excited about for sure, and I hope everyone else in the community will as well. The Saturday morning and the Sunday morning after the event, we will be running a free to the community basketball clinic, skills and drills clinic on the Stingers floor at Expo Center. And we're really looking forward to just a big celebration of basketball around that weekend. Some people following our social media would have seen the call for nominations for our 50 Greatest Moments campaign, and we are in the middle of compiling those video segments that'll run in that 45 seconds to a minute long, celebrating 50 great moments in the history of basketball in Alberta, not necessarily Alberta basketball. As you can imagine, the 2015 win in the Saville Gymnasium of our senior women's national team the 1983 Universiade Canada win over the USA are obviously moments that will be on that list, as well as obviously many, many more. So we've got that celebration coming in that form with the video. And the 50th anniversary has been the impetus for the organization to start a Alberta Basketball Hall of Fame. And we're calling it a Hall of Fame and Museum because we will house these 50 greatest moments clips and then hopefully be adding to that library, because we know there will be moments that are left off of the list, trying to keep it to 50. So we'll continue to expand that effort as well. And this will be the pebble in the pond, if you will, and one of the ripples will be the creation of the Hall of Fame and Museum piece that will be hosted virtually, at least for now. So a lot of exciting things to celebrate the 50 years of basketball in Alberta.
Well, it's great to hear about this, Dave. All the activities centered around this very, very significant anniversary. The word that you used on a number of occasions was celebration, and there is so much to celebrate, and both in terms of high profile, high impact moments, but also I think the gradual growth of the sport of basketball. I mean, over those 50 years, when you look at 1975 to 2025, and all of the changes in terms of participation, profile,
yes,
performance, there's just so much to be, to be celebrating. Dave, you're a long-time post-secondary coach prior to your moving into the executive director role. Talk about what you have seen in terms of the changes in the basketball world and culture in Alberta over your tenure.
And I'll go back to the early to mid 80s when I first got involved in coaching basketball. And knowing that at that time you had high school, junior high, high school, post-secondary, which was a much smaller landscape back then. And then there were provincial teams by Alberta Basketball, and there wasn't much else. There were some community leagues that were running basketball. There were some opportunities, scattered around the province. The massive growth of Calgary Minor Basketball Association, EYBA, Edmonton Youth Basketball, those things I think were glimmers in the eyes of people. Club basketball in this province, virtually non-existent, aside from a couple of brave pioneers that would gather some groups together and groups of kids together and say, hey, let's go on a bit of a tour, or let's do some basketball in the spring and summer. It really was a time of multi-sport athletes. You played basketball during a specific season, and then you went and played baseball, or you did, whatever you were going to do in the summer. And the idea that basketball has become a 12-month-a-year prospect is emblematic, I think, of the growth and the diversity of opportunities. Paul, you talked about, specifically this weekend, it's 3x3. We had the Blacktop 3-on-3 events at the West Edmonton Mall parking lot, and we had those pieces that were trying to find their way around the game. Adult leagues were, a couple of divisions deep back then, and now all of a sudden, we've got 8-9 divisions worth of adults that are continuing to play the game. Multiple leagues, some of them based around, cultural communities that have started their own small adult leagues, or just in general, the expansion, Edmonton Sport and Social Club plus the Edmonton Basketball Association, and just, the same growth is going on in Calgary and in Red Deer and the Wood Buffalo, Fort McMurray region and Grand Prairie, and just watching it build from the ground up. Grassroots community basketball. It feels like every community now has a rec programmer that understands that basketball programming is fun and accessible, rather than one or two camps only running in the province. Everyone seems to be on the camp bandwagon right now, which is fantastic. I alluded earlier, post-secondary was a smaller landscape. When we first got started, Lakeland wasn't really there. Keano, Concordia, where you coached for years, Paul, wasn't an ACAC team. It was a team in a men's league back then. And then same with Kings up in Edmonton, Ambrose, St. Mary's, so many of these post-secondary institutions, and then McEwen and Mount Royal, who competed in the ACAC, moving on to U Sport. There's just been so much change and growth, but it's all started from the grassroots and the community level and working, and then pushing up. Well, as the population aged into junior high, we needed more junior high teams and more junior high leagues, and then high school sport has expanded, and then the population was there to expand post-secondary, and it's just been this wonderful growth all the way through, and now we're seeing it all the way up to our national team level with, if you had told me back in the 80s that we would have, first of all, what's the WNBA back in the 80s? But that we would have a WNBA draft pick come out of Alberta, that we would have members of our Olympic basketball teams, multiple teams out of Alberta. Probably would have looked at you a little bit funny at the time because we didn't also have the media coverage. We didn't know about the toll strips if you grew up in a small town in northern Alberta, because the coverage wasn't hitting our local paper the way we have internet access now to be able to read about, the greats that came way before us, never mind the more recent success stories. So that's a very long-winded way of saying multifaceted growth that has just taken off over the last, 30 years that we're just really excited about.
It really has been gratifying to watch its evolution, its development, sometimes 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
Yes.
Uneven as all get out, with some edges to the 12-month a year participation in a sport, and sometimes what I think is perceived by people as the pressure that young people feel to play a particular sport, not just basketball, year-round, as opposed to being a multi-sport athlete and feeling like if you're not in the gym, somebody else is, and you're not going to be as good. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that goes along with that growth. But the bottom line is, as you just have described, Dave, is that the growth is positive. The growth continues. The Raptors winning the championship in 2019. Vince Carter having been here, those are seminal moments. Mm-hmm. Steve Nash MVP. Now, another big lift is Gilgeous Alexander. As you said, Yvonne Edgem from Calgary, after her phenomenal career at Gonzaga, drafted into the WNBA. I think we'll see her on a WNBA roster one day. But all of these things just continue to move the sport forward. And to hear that ABA is also taking this opportunity at the 50th year to celebrate what has happened and is happening is, I think, a great opportunity for reflection, regrouping, and a gathering together to continue a very healthy, positive push forward with the sport.
Well, thanks for saying that, Paul, because obviously I agree with you on that. So, yeah, we're really, I think those of us, and obviously, Paul, you are in this category, those of us that have seen the growth and have been part of it and had either a fingertip on it or a full hand on it, we have to take a moment to sit back and be happy and see what we've done and say, wow, there are some really special, really cool accomplishments here. And let's be grateful for the opportunity to be involved. Let's be grateful for the stories that we have and all of the parts of the journey. And then let's also use that to be just even more excited about what the next 50 years could bring us.
Absolutely. Well, Dave, thanks for taking time out from your 3x3 event. I hope it goes really, really well. Hopefully, a lot of the people that are participating there will come down to the Hoop City event in later this month and have the opportunity to see Team Canada's women, Steve Sir playing in the Quest, local 3x3 folks that have done so much for the sport, and also to see the best teams in the world, Olympic champions, etc. So best of luck this weekend, Dave. A continued best of luck with all of the details that need to go into pulling this celebration together. And thanks for joining us today. Dave Drabiuk, Executive Director of the Alberta Basketball Association.
Thanks, Paul. Have a great day.
Yeah, it's exciting time to be reflecting on the growth of the game, and glad to see ABA taking such a lead role in making this happen. We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, Ryan and I are going to talk some more about the Hoop City 3x3, as well as continue our discussion about the NBA Summer League here on your sports leader, Sports 1440. This is a basketball show.